Okay, good morning, students. Good morning, Professor Angela. It's
Morning.
very grateful to have you to share your knowledge about the Industrial Psychology Lecture Series 2022. Actually, we have 3 series. Yeah, this is the first series, and then the next 2 weeks we also have another series. Okay. This is the series. Yeah, the first series is about the trend shaping human resource management, and the second job analysis, and the third employee recruitment. Okay. This is for the attendance list. Yeah, maybe you can QR code. You can just scan the QR code for Indonesian students, for the Netherlands, and for the Vietnamese students. Please, you can scan the QR code here. Before we start this lecture, I will introduce our distinguished speakers today. Name is Professor Angela Jens, Associate Professor of Department of Industrial and System Engineering in Chunglian Christian University, our one of the best partner university. Yeah, we
Thank
have.
you. Thank you.
uh, we have already have many collaborations, yeah, with Chunglian University, especially with Department of Industrial and System Engineering. Okay, her education, PhD, she got a PhD degree from Industrial Engineering Management, UNC University, Taiwan, and MBA, Business Administration from University of Houston, USA, and Bachelor Bioresource Engineering, yeah, from the University of British Columbia, Canada. Yeah,
Yeah.
and her research interest about regarding project scheduling, service system, portfolio management, multi-criteria, and one of the courses she taught is about human resource management. So this is very suitable fit. We can hear about hear her sharing about human resource topics in human resource management. Okay, and it's very he got also a lot of award and honors about the best papers, and then outstanding research project award, and also outstanding teaching award. Okay, maybe we this is the our agenda. The first, Professor Angela will share the materials about 1 hour, and then the second session discussion, yeah, discussion Q&A about 30 minutes. Okay, maybe you can start your presentation, Professor Angela. Time
Okay.
and screen yours. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay. First of all, I need to be able to, I think
Okay.
I am not able to share. Yeah,
Yes, I will. I will. Sorry.
that's okay.
Wait a moment.
Yeah.
Make sorry. Make host. I cannot. Wait. I cannot.
Oh, somehow you cannot share it, right?
Yes, I can make you a host, but not a co-host. But okay, it's okay. I will make you a host. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I can share it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, though. So let's thank you, Ronald, for updated the new information.
Yeah.
Just last night I realized I didn't give you my updated. It's not changing much, but then just yeah. So you're so thoughtful. Anyway, well, I do appreciate the opportunity for the second time coming to share with you guys. And today I think there are three series on the human resource management, or human resource, I would say. So I was just gonna briefly share with you guys, student from Indonesia and Vietnam. Hello, and to share why I designed these three series, which I didn't have a chance last time. The reason I think it's very important to really understand how to know what's upcoming with the trend in the HR, or in fact, it is, I think it is a present tense. It's a present progressive, if you say, okay. And so let's just, I think I'll just briefly talk about my background, because what makes me a little bit unique from other, probably, well, just one part of group of people unique. It's not like I'm totally unique, but in this workforce, is that I do carry with different background, or even living at a different area. So what I think, or even in terms of the knowledge wise, and I do go by what I would like, or what I'm interested in finding out. So so actually I went to North America when I was high school, and that I did had a privilege to be able to choose the academic I like. So so I did choose the bioresource. So I don't think many of you guys know what bioresource is, and it's actually what we call about environmental engineering, but we deal with environmental hazards in a biological way. There are many areas of many ways to treat this problem, but somehow I decided to do a more biological way, I guess. But at the time, I didn't really know. All I know is that this is one interesting, or my dreams to save the world. So that's what I did. But I think the reality hits is that when you graduate, you realize that you can't really find the exact job you like. I think this is many of you guys, or many of even my student, or it's been going on. Okay, this kind of situation, reality never change. It hits everybody. Okay, and it actually did hit me too. So I didn't know what I was going to do. By the time I almost graduate, and in fact, it took me a little bit more than just 4 years. The one extra year I did was to do a practicum, and at that time, our school didn't really offer the practicum in the sense that every student will have the opportunity. We There were only top students, and unfortunately, I wasn't really the top student yet at that time. But then I did myself a thought, and that I should also find another opportunity to work, because some of my friends, like Caucasian friend we call, or in that sense the white friends, that they I observe the way how they go through study, is that they are not very they weren't really hurry to finish the degree, but they actually take their time, in the sense that they will partly maybe due to the loan. They do have student loan, but they work maybe the whole year. They study the whole year, and maybe they work for the half year. That the work they did was something related to my field at that time. But as an Asian kids like me, I wasn't really give too much thoughts. So I just rush through, study really hard, right? So by the time I almost graduating, I realized that it's actually difficult. Or in fact, I was questioning, should I keep on, getting a job in that area? So it was a chance that I got practical in the banking industry. that I realized I actually end up getting a job offer, but then I turned it down because I got admitted to University of Houston. So it was kind of a decision that you need to do again for some of you guys in the future. But for my student too, or my graduate student, they actually had that a similar experience too. So I really would love to share my background experience with them, because every time you need to make the decision, and sometimes the opportunity comes may not be what you perceive as a good timing, and at that, are you going through like for me, it's like, am I going to the master's degree, or should I just take the job offer working at the bank? But anyway, I didn't, so I pursued my MBA, and it was during my again almost graduating with the MBA, but then halfway of my MBA courses, and I got another job offer, and which is another thing in banking, but this time is a different aspect of banking industry. It was more of an administrative. I was offered to work under the operation manager and one branch of the bank, to be the secretary of something, and eventually uh, I will be able to have opportunity to do something. But then that's another decision. So anyway, towards the end, somehow when I came back to Taiwan, I had an opportunity to offer as a, teaching position. And that's another thing, is that, you need to decide on whether you needed to pursue another degree. So what I'm saying, taking this time to share with all of you guys, is that I realize that human resource management may be, or human resource HR department may be in one department in any of the company, or one type of area or know-how in the, academically. But in fact, it is very useful for you and I personally to know what exactly the resource we are, and to design what we want for ourselves. So we are our own HR manager. And that today, I think it's very important that to know what exactly you are, and what exactly you want. Hopefully, you can get into in the future. Okay, so what I was trying to say is that at that time when I'm in a teaching business, I mean industry right here at university, I didn't really realize that um, I'm actually my personality is suitable for teaching and sharing, and so on. May not be necessary good in a very fast-paced kind of company, but at that time I thought I was. Okay, so I think overall, anyway, as I being in this business industry, teaching for a long time, you do need to develop a certain specialty, okay, which I didn't realize at the beginning when I was just a junior teacher, right? And so what all of you guys see right now is what I have been doing, and it's not like all at once. It was more like a gradually build up, and that I didn't really have a good concept of what I really want, because it's just no experience, right? And through the years, I had more of a concept of what I should, if I do have a main area that I would like to focus on, and I'm good at it, then how I can expand. So my background is a little bit from the traditional, if you are a grad, like, your undergrads is IE and all the way IE, okay, because I just not. So at that time, I'm more a cross between engineering and business aspects. So for that, my PhD is on project management, particularly in the engineering aspect. So it will be more of the scheduling. Okay, scheduling. So if you know, in IE, we do have a scheduling courses or scheduling aspect of learning, but it's more of on the production. Okay, but mine is more on the project focus, which means that we look at the company that they every day almost they have, if it's a big company, they have quite a bit of a project going on. So they do, all the company, they all faces the problem with the resource. So the resource here that we will bring back to our main topic today is the human resource for one. So in the project management, a lot of time we need to deal with people. Okay, it's one thing that you have all the schedule, but it's another thing that you need to get the people to do it on time and doing at the good quality, right? So, so my PhD was more on the hardcore one, is like how to schedule this, how to schedule all the tasks and then figure it out a time things. But then for me, all these years, and then when I'm teaching, I try to teach the soft aspect of it, soft part of it, that the HR, and also how do you perceive the project, and how do you make sure the quality is assured. Okay, so we do have, we call project quality control. So, and then also, then I gradually expanded to the service science, or we call service industry. And the reason why I also bring that up is that a lot of people think that HR is just a business aspect. In a way, it is, but then your country, Vietnam, Indonesian, and even Taiwan, right? All of us are having a sort of industry restructuring, meaning if you really go look into your industry, you will realize that, for example, in Taiwan, we have more than 60% or even going to 70% of GDP, the national-wide GDP, that is coming from the service industry. So I encourage all student to look, to dig out the numbers for your country. And I'm pretty sure that it's probably half for your country already too, which means that service is everywhere now. Okay, so in that, of course, there are a lot of things you can connect with IE concept and implement it into the service industry. Okay, it's not just a business aspect of it anymore. It's a systematic aspect, that how you re-engineer all the service, like maybe the process and so on. So here, one of the things that most of you guys have commonly heard will be the CRM. It's customer relation management. Okay, and the customer relation management goes down to, again, the hardcore and softcore. The softcore focus more on how do you train the people. A lot of time when we go to a retail store, the people that serve us here at this, at right on the spot, right? So you can tell a person who is professionally trained or very experienced, but not very professional, because the way how they carry out the things and etc. Right? So that's another HR aspect that we can implement it, and etc. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the other two for the time being. So I use my own case to share with you guys what I have realized all over all these years about HR management. Instead of being taught when I was young, okay, that HR is supposed to be what are you supposed to know, etc. But for you guys, what do you think HR is? I mean, I don't know any of you guys have taken any courses similar than this, or this is just the first time you've known about or taken the course? So can any of you guys, if you do have any thoughts, okay, instead of turn on your microphone, which I would gladly invite and hear you sharing. If not, you can leave a message, okay, and tell me about what do you think HR is? Okay, what do you think HR is? So today, if you are assigned in some kind of position to, have authority to manage all those people, what do you think HR should be? Okay, so anybody would like to put the thoughts, I greatly appreciate it. So, and this is what the aspect of the HR, most of us, or fundamental, okay, and must know, okay. Yeah, anybody? Yes, no? Okay, so HR, in other words, you will also hear people saying it's a personnel. Okay, so the personnel aspects of the management that we are dealing with, that consider how we do a job analysis. So that's related to job. Okay, so it's actually people and job. We call staff or duty, something like that. So first, we will probably have a good concept of the job analysis. And also we need to do labor planning, meaning we need to know exactly just how many people, or what they should, what kind of job should we have, people to do, but not the machine. Okay, 1 year ago when I was sharing with you guys, I didn't put into too much thought on man and machine, but look at the COVID. Okay, it has been changing a lot of enterprise or company that they actually seriously put into thought of labor and machine, man and machine. Okay, so planning labor's needs is very important. And how do we position ourselves in terms of we are a human being, right? We're people. What should we do about us? Okay, and recruitment of obviously when we're doing a good or understand what job needs to be performed, while we know whether we should rely on a machine or train our people. Okay, these are different. So, and also we need to hire newcomers, like newcomers. Okay, and who should we hire? How should we hire? And those ones are the personnel aspect of it. And of course, we call wage and salary. It's another form of rewards. Okay, people needs reward. Very realistically, we give them money. But besides money, we also need to think about, is there anything we can give to our people? Okay, so think, everybody, what do you think? If today you have a choice, would you, well, I would say 100% maybe, would you like company to pay you money? I'm talking about extra, okay, not not the salary you're supposed to get. If you can get extra things, okay, what would that be? Right? Would you want to say, give me money still? Okay, then you can type money. Okay, or you want something else. Okay, it's very interesting. Okay, because they are culturally different. At the same time, it actually depends on the background of, I would say, your background or your experience, because North America or European people versus Asian, okay, people like you and I, we do have different mentality of that, but there are some common grounds. Okay, so just think, if there are something we call incentive, okay, besides just the, wages and salary, what are some of the incentives that will motivate you to work even harder? Okay, the benefit. And I would say that that's that's something that company was, yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. I would say that's something that the company are striving for, because after the COVID, there are some major changes among how they thought about their employees. Okay, everybody somehow realized something very important in their life. Okay, they realize, especially labor like us employee, realize they do have the choice to choose between certain things that they really meaningful to them. So that's why right now, that's why, you probably will see from or hear from the news saying, oh, company, a lot of industry are short of labor and so on. Okay, and etc. So those ones are the personnel aspects. And how should we do about it? So what do you think? Do you think human resource management uh, is important? Knowing HR or HR manager, or the department is important? Well, I hope that so far I've done a good job of pointing out the importance of the HR position, okay, the role they can play. And of course, okay, one of the reason, the very important reason is that while company or you and I are digging out many so-called resource, okay, people, okay, HR, human resource. So human are actually a resource, but what kind of resource? Okay, I taught economics or engineering economics these few years. And one of the things I remember when I was teaching, or when I'm teaching still, economics course, is that I asked students, if you need to categorize resource, what do you think human resource will be categorized? We know the resource of, for example, money is definitely one resource, but there are many other resources. So human resource, what do you think, what kind of resource they are if you need to put a labor? Are they, are they a capital resource? Okay, capital resource. So you kind of need to understand what capital really means economically. Okay, or are they just a consumer resource? Consumptive, we call consumptive resource. So capital resource, the characteristic of that is that capital resource is one type of resource that you invested, and you've invested on this resource, and that resource can brings you more, even much more, or rewards, or in a very blunt way is that if you invest it, you buy these things, and you use these things to bring you even more profit. Okay, that's what we call capital resource. But consumptive resource is more like you are, for example, we are buying our clothes, we're buying, I would say clothes, or we're buying our food or daily consumption kind of things. Okay, that it would just consume and that's it. Okay, so what do you think of human resource will be? Okay, and it's very interesting by that is that by the time I'm pretty sure this session or even the 3 parts of series finish, I hope you can realize that what I'm trying to deliver a message is that whether a human resource is perceived of the human capital resource really depends on the people, you yourself, or even if you are in a companies, okay, it's the HR, how they planned it. But for you, you are responsible. If you can imagine yourself as a company itself, so you are your own HR manager. So how would you want yourself to become? What type of resource will you want yourself to be think of? Okay, so oops. So here, Okay, we say why is it important? It's because that a lot of time, any business that they start off, they need what? They need people to do the job. And you will see a lot of, startup company, right? They all started with maybe not many. Sometimes, for example, Facebook, when they start off, they only have like 4 or 5 their undergrads, buddies, right? And then they start off, or even with Microsoft, Bill Gates himself, etc. You can hear or heard about a lot of many successful story that started with, yes, we do have one mission or task, but who's doing it? It's not machine, right? A lot of it is the idea, the dream, the task that people carry it. So it's forget about people are saying, oh, we're gonna replace by the machine or something. But creativity comes what? Comes from us. Okay, so it's only when we let ourselves to be not competitive enough, then we will be beaten up by the machine. So so that's why I think HR is very important. Okay, HR manager, and also a lot of time only the few employees, okay, will feel that they cannot um, the employee, they cannot find a place where they really belongs, or they cannot or even business top management, they need the right people to be at the right place. So who will be that, media, okay, to to do the matching? Okay, of course it's HR. Why? Because it's very specific expertise that people train to do it. Okay, so they're trying to do, it's like a marriage matchmaker kind of things, right? We're trying to put the right people at the right place on the right job, doing the right job, and yet the company find the right person they want. Okay, so here, there is, so when we're talking about HR in a company, right? And there are a lot of type of manager. Okay, we have different level, and what exactly HR manager will be positioned like? Again, I'm trying to ask student to categorize what type of HR manager will be. Okay, because we can have a very specific manager, okay, but HR, it seems like, is for every department. For example, if this today is a production department, we have a production manager, right? So right away we know that this manager is in charge of all the production planning, everything, the operational part, operations side of it, right? But what about HR? So here we need to know the differences between line and staff manager. What's the difference? Are they the same? Okay, and here, let's say that HR manager, okay, in some way is above all we call different department manager. Okay, but yet, okay, at the HR do have their own position for their own daily or duties that they're supposed to do, but they also support, okay, each department's operation or issues, okay, they need to deal with. Okay, so here I give a brief definition on what line manager is like. So we can look into the definition here and figure out the difference between line and staff. So line manager, the responsibility and the job, the duty that they're supposed to do is to supervise. Okay, supervise their co-workers, okay, or employees on the operational type of business or jobs. So they basically needs to focus more on, if you look at the picture right here, okay, the lady in the middle, she is more like a line manager. So she will be supervised. So she's will be supervised with other, her employees or co-worker about how they should do in terms of the daily activities. And here is another industry, maybe the construction industry or the logistic industry. So this person, this man, gentleman will be, again, the line manager. So line manager had possessed one of the characteristic is that most of the time they're on scene. They don't really sit in the back of the office. Okay, figure it out strategically, figure it out, oh, I should develop or do what. They are more of the on-site person to deal with the problem right away. So, and so on. Okay, so why do they need to be on site? Because they need to make sure the person, okay, they know what they are doing. So that's why we say they needs to have an on-site manager to guide them, to help them to know the situation if there's any issue. Okay, at the same time, they will also evaluate on how those other people are doing their performance. Okay, so that's what the line manager is really important. So do you think that will relate it to anything on the engineering, HR aspects? Yeah, of course. Okay, because they're constantly deal with people, right? So there are some part of it is HR aspect of knowledge that line manager should know. But unfortunately, a lot of times, some of the line manager may not have the knowledge of the HR because they are working from the bottom up, and their background probably is like you and I, or even, for example, mechanical, if he or she graduate having the job or background knowledge on the mechanical engineering aspects, or even in this case, we call construction aspects, they're not trained to know exactly what HR skills should be, or they should have, right? Okay, so that's why. But do we call them HR manager or first line manager? No. Okay. But then they do need some aspect of HR skills, right? Okay, so that's why what we say about line manager. Okay, sometimes we refers to a lot of different departments that of course the management level is just a middle, I would say middle management level. Okay, and so another type is when we were talking about staff manager. This is more of the position that is on the sort of a I would say supervise role. Okay, we giving the advice, we help out a support kind of system, not exactly the directly to do the command or control and so on. So those we call staff manager. So to HR in some ways, the example that I gave it to you. So HR in that sense will be if the HR department or HR manager would want to give it support, that in that sense will be a staff manager, because if they need to hire someone on scene, for example, the construction or even the logistics, right now they don't have enough people and they are asking company to help out. Well, usually logistics department or construction, they will go and talk to the company, and company will definitely asking HR to come in to evaluate, right? So in this case, HR will be the staff management position that give the support. But what kind of people they should hire? Well, I don't think HR will have very clear idea about every single different aspect of job that the company needs to be carried out. Okay, so usually they will just be asking advice from the department and give them a prescription, I would say not prescription, sorry, prerequisites on what type of exactly the skill that they needed, and HR will be responsible to find out or to open up, any channel of recruiting people. And that's more or less like that. So those ones are we call staff manager. So and also the HR in that sense will be a staff management position. Is that a lot of time they are more focused on how they should evaluate or give a fair evaluation or policy or benefit, for example, to the people, the employees. So that's the key word is that they are more of adversary or supportive kind of role. Okay. Okay. So, oops. Here. Um. So right, there is a reason. I would say there are probably 3 or 4 years, or even a little longer than that, that people start changing. Instead of saying HR, they like to focus more on strategic. And why is that? Because the traditional HR is only going through, certain things that I just show you, right? The process. Okay, they don't think too much because they don't plan in some way too much, because if this department, like a production department or logistic department, needs people, most of the time are those parts that they need people, they will be calling out for help. They will be sending the requests. So the HR didn't have to do much about, oh, maybe we should hire a few more because of that and so on, right? Usually the needs brought up by each department. But then that's when the economy or the company is doing quite well and they don't really care much, right? Or even I know even some of the country. I do have a student that's worked in Qatar and Dubai and so on. They were sharing with me about their situation over there. And one of the student was talking about how, because some of the company over there are quite wealthy, they don't have any problem because petroleum, right? So they don't have a problem with the budget and all that, so they don't really care too much about the employee performance. Okay, but then when it comes to the task that they don't have people to do it, they right away think that they just need to hire more people. Okay, it's not bad. I mean, if you are an employee working there, great, because you're just hiring more people to do the extra job or different job instead of asking you, existing employees, to do the extra work, right? So from our side, we're going great, yay. But then is it really good? Okay, well, if we're looking at the performance, efficiency or effectiveness, not necessary. So, or do you guys think that it's easy to get a people now? Not really. So even though they have the money to hire new people, they can't find a good, not good, sorry, they can't find the right people to do the job. They're having a problem of looking for a right person. Okay, so that's why in a traditional HR, they shift to the strategic. So strategic really means is to plan ahead, not just not planning at all, or not just based on certain aspect that they do some thoughts into it. Is that the whole overview of what exactly your company is, what kind of people you need, okay, and then for how many years down the road, and what do you do with the existing employee if some of them are not equipped, meaning not suitable for the job anymore? Do you just fire them? Is it a good way, the only way? Do you think that's responsible? Okay, so strategic ideas come out. Okay, so oops, sorry. Let me just press this. Okay, so the difference between the traditional HR and the strategic HR, so which we abbreviate now, is the SHR. Okay, it's just difference on the way of thinking and attitude, I would say. But because of that, okay, how we carry out that is slightly different too. Okay, we don't just focus on the daily routine job things, but then working as a HR, you will probably have to really know exactly what your people are. Okay, what capable or what kind of characteristics your current existing employees are. So it's like doing a SWOT analysis, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats that you need to implement it in your back of your mind, or even sometimes down into paper, and to see, okay, just what type of people you have now, what are their strengths. Okay, the very straightforward way is your education, age, gender, because some type of job that is just maybe more female than male, or sometimes it's male and female. Not to say good or bad, but in some ways, sometimes a heavy work things, we probably do need men to do it. That's sometimes it's the fact. But then besides that, if you just happen to have more ladies, female, does that mean that you really need to hire someone, men then? Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe that's where the machine comes in. But can machine really come in? Well, maybe yes. If not, then you really have to consider hiring someone, right? But then can we train them? Because sometimes a job is trainable, meaning that even this current situation, they don't have that kind of an area of know-how. Okay, can we actually try to motivate, okay, encourage employees, or somehow reinforce them? They have to get training. Well, that's why some of the company will arrange some training program for open up for a new position. They usually will go internally. Okay, asking employees, do they have this kind of area of know-how? And then you can get promoted, or you can get some evaluation, then you get promoted, right? So so the training program then becomes important. So in my school, okay, or I heard from some other school in Taiwan, for the staff, like university, right? Sometimes you guys will go to like secretary, administrative, people, okay, and being an international university, like its academic institution, I think your country and my country, we do need to deal with whether our staff are able to communicate in English, right? So unfortunately, most of them aren't, which is the fact, right? But what do we do? Do we just fire them? Of course not, right? Because this is not responsible, and this is not even the best way to do that, right? So what should we do? Well, then we offer some of the training program for the staff. Maybe they want to spare 1 and 2 hours of lunchtime, coffee time, and then we have someone to teach them, to reinforce them English skill. Okay, so that's one way to do it, and that's the strategic way of doing it. So and strategy obviously go with the vision, okay, of what the organization wants in the future. So it's a future tense kind of things. Okay, so here strategic process will be like we define the mission. So the strategic and the traditional HR is different in a way that we really consider, we put into company's vision, the future, the role. Okay, we look ahead and we plan. So that's the difference. Anything else to me? I think it's very, very similar. Just a minor gesture of change. That's it. So You can look at the strategic planning right here. Mostly are oriented to, or compliance to the strategic part of the company's mission, plans, and so on. So we do external audits, meaning the SWOT analysis that I was just mentioning to you guys. So it will be that strengths and weaknesses will be the internal, and the opportunity and threats will be the external. So we need to understand our environment and where your company position is. So again, okay, coming back from from company's aspect into your aspect, you and I personally, okay, we need to constantly do this auditing, okay, examination about ourselves. What are type of strengths and weaknesses, and what are the opportunity and threats, right? How should I, what do I really want as my, mission in the future? Okay, what kind of things would I want? Okay, what kind of thing would I like to pursue? And then you do a planning. Okay, and how do you go about it? Okay, so here, and but of course, at the end, a lot of time, which I myself also missed it, is the performance evaluation, meaning the KPI. Okay, and for the company, definitely there is no way you can escape that. But for ourselves, do you have a KPI for yourself? Okay, one of the commonly known KPI will be so-called New Year's resolution. I don't know any of you guys do that. Okay, but I do have the habit of doing it, but somehow well, personally, I kind of slacking off for this few years. One of the reasons is because one of the KPI I did was like, I say to myself, I need to lose weight. And it's been on my KPI for at least 4 years, but I haven't been able to do that yet. So why do I share with you guys is because key performance here is very important too. Can you imagine it, if you're setting the KPI, the performance evaluation that is too difficult, or, for the employees to feel, I can achieve it, what exactly will happen? Well, you most likely will be like me, right? List it out, but never achieve it, right? Then what's the point? So being as a HR, okay, as HR, we constantly modify this KPI that related to the incentive, okay? And here, I'm just going to do a quick run. And one of them, if I have an opportunity to go with you guys with this aspect, is the environmental scanning. I do have the slides. Okay, so I would provide it to Dr. Ronald. Okay, if you guys are interested. If I don't have time to share with you guys are welcome to look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I would really love to have more talk, sharing, discussion with the student. But anyway, let's just quickly go through this. Imagine yourself, or even a company. You are a car. We are a car. A company is like a car. Any type of car. You can have a Tesla, or you can have a school bus, for example. That represents any of the situation you and I, or even company is. But we all need to go through a road. And this road can be a winding road like this, or it can be a very smooth ride. But how would you, go about it? It doesn't mean that the smooth ride really smooth. What exactly needs to take in order to have us to reach from point A to point B? Okay, so of course that really needs to do strategic planning, right? So when we're dealing with people, then that definitely is a duty of the HR. Okay, here is an environmental scan. This I actually get it from the internet, but I think it's very clear. Okay, and one of them is the economic. Okay, so the environmental scan, how should we scan? What should we scan? First, economic aspects. So that's why it's very important you should have a basic ideas of what's going on in your country, okay, in terms of GDP, meaning the salary on average, okay, the productivities that all of you guys, regardless the industry, and also we're saying if it's a growth or it's going down and so on, okay, and then the competition, your competitor, and also the political aspects. Okay, is it because a lot of time government do plan, so you can see your government that they are heading towards what type of direction or which industry, how they go about, and etc. Or even technical aspect of it and social aspect. Social aspect is not much of the political, but more of the demographic, like the generation. So we all know that right now, over around the world, is a generation, you know, I don't know what kind of call like Z or generation already, that everybody go with the social media. And because of that, there are a lot of jobs already changing, right? So social trends we need to know, and geographic trends. Okay, that sets your company to be dealing with different type of culture. See, we used to have the student that's probably only with our domestic, right? Now, look, we have people from Taiwan, we have people from Indonesia, we have people from Vietnam. Okay, so pretty soon, okay, whether you like it or not, you're dealing with student classmates who is probably looks like, you know, you and I, we look alike, right? But then we speak different language, right? So geographically, we think different too. Okay, so that's very important. And if you're HR business, then you need to understand the cultural side of it, and you need to understand the gap in between, because sometimes it always go into communication, right? How do you get the job done? Okay, because of the way people think, the tradition, okay, etc. And here are the aspects I listed out. And so again, it's pretty much straightforward, and that's it. Okay, and I think I do still have probably 5 minutes or so. So let me just get it through this very quickly. And the basic ideas about strategic HR is that, again, with the, the graph, we have the goal. Okay, and if your company is expanding, or if your country is heading towards certain thing, for example, the Taiwanese government, it's been make very clear one of the, their country's national development is that we want to be a bilingual country. Okay, not to say that we want to be a technology oriented, but we also want to be a bilingual. So what happened with that goal? Okay, we start having a lot of policy in the education, Ministry of Education, to ask, certain private organization or so to train the teacher. Okay, maybe from it used to be probably a more freedom or privatization kind of thing that people wants to reinforce their language skill. But now is some of the school is mandatory if you want to have a sort of a bilingual type of title, you need to have certain qualified teacher for that, and so on. See, just by giving you guys a small example, okay, you can see that because of certain, strategic goal right here, and then they are coming from, down the development plan, there are many, many different things that affects how you and I will, will plan our own career. Okay. Okay, so here, what's the future talent? I call talent factory, because we are, especially we are in a business like Ronald and I, we are a teacher. So we are in the business of cultivating people. Okay, and you guys, if you think of, I like this, this type of work, and in the future, if I go to the company, I would like to be in the HR business. Okay, that's great. What kind of things should you know? Well, the first thing is to constantly mind yourself to know what's the future talent factory will be like. because we're just one of the people who are producing the talent, okay, as a product, right? So here, okay, in terms of one of the things of the aspect, we need to focus on human and work environment. So HR in that sense is not so much traditional anymore, or not just the business aspect. I'm not saying from if you are an MBA like me or business student, HR is nah or something. No, I wouldn't say that. It's just an approach from different aspect, which we here don't teach, don't have, because with the business students, they would be focused more on the law, regulation, policy. But whereas IE here, we focus more on the environment, which we do have some courses called work analysis or job analysis, and ergonometry, human factor. Okay, we focus on the human aspect, but in a different way. Okay, so we need to look into human interaction and the work environment, and that while we are looking at the work human interaction, there are some jobs can be remotely done and can be replaced by the machine, like we said. So here, the physical proximity, meaning how far away are we from each other? Just like I'm a teacher right now in this course, but I'm very far away from you guys, right? Very far. That's too bad. Okay. And that will affect the closeness I can have with you guys. Okay. I'm a type of a stage person. I like to be one, in the physical sense, because then people can see me and I can have interaction with you guys. So for some people, they are not like that. They are more suitable, or they are good at doing the remote, like giving a video talk like this, right? So physical closeness will be looked closely into, because it may suit one, may not suit the other. And the work environment, not to say with that, especially if it's a factory, right? And is it an indoor or is it an on-site job? Is it the office job, or is it a job that you need to travel a lot, etc.? Okay. And so you can look into with different type of job right here. Like, if you are in Medicare type of work industry, all here on the left side are type of job or industry that will encounter, right? So if you're in the Medicare, well, physical closeness is a must. That's why you can see in the COVID at the earlier when it just explodes, right? The medical staff are very tiring, because you cannot remotely, try to do the treatment, right? Or prescribe anything. But look at now, I don't know about your country, but in Taiwan here, the policy changes. Earlier this summer, I got a COVID confirmed, right? And I was able to just use the video conferencing and talk to the doctor, and doctor just asked me, oh, what kind of symptom or whatever. And then he's prescribed the medicine and I took it. But at the beginning, it was not possible. Why was that? Well, because it was pretty much people have no clue of what is going on, and it's more severe, right? So, and so on. But now it's possible, and etc. And so you can look into different type of job that they have different aspects of it. Okay, so I think the one of the I would say very different job characteristic will be the possibility of remote. Can you work remotely? The potential for the remote work is very high now, and in the sense that if you have a choice, okay, would you choose to work remotely? And I'm pretty sure some of the people will like to be that, but potentially there are to be pros and cons and different. either the employer's aspect or employee aspects. So for the employer aspect, the benefit of asking their employees to work remote is that they don't have to accommodate huge, places for the employees to come, which is a cost for them, right? They need to invest on the cybersecurity and so on, and they don't have to pay electricity anymore, right? And all, some of the tangible and causes. But there are some intangible causes, is that they find if you're in a manager position that where you need to coordinate a lot of things. Okay, as the middle manager or top manager find it's hard, because remember we were talking about the physical proximity. Okay, we are more distant. Like I know Dr. Ronald, but honestly, we've never had the opportunity to be face to face, right? So that yeah, so we can talk through email, but we do have the distance. But then sometimes if you want to get something done, especially when you have a misunderstanding, wow, that paid the price, right? Okay, so remote work, good or not, it really depends. But for you guys, students, hopefully I'm opening up floor now, and that you guys can share with me. What do you guys think? Do you guys, if you guys have, first of all, remember I throw a few questions. First, if you guys have an opportunity to choose the pay structure, like, salary or benefit and so on, which one you think is more important? Based on you do have a basic pay, okay? It's not like you don't have it at all, but extra, just we call the overtime, the extra, or we call bonus. What type would you like? Would you like to pay it in salary base, or would you like to pay in some other things? And also with the remote work, would you like to choose to work on the remote work, or you would still prefer to be in the physical, environment to do the job? Okay, so I think rest of it, you guys can just, it was just a study done by the McKinsey consulting group. I think it's very important in terms of what type of skill we need to have. And I think this one will be provided for you guys. So you guys will have a closer look on, what kind of things we need to equip ourselves for. Okay, so anybody would like to share with us? For example, look at this automation, US. Okay, this is a little old, but then because it was just around COVID, periods, that was just more devastating, and look at people or perceive it quite differently, right? And this is only the retail, so retail got hit badly on this matter, right? Okay, and that the future trends, and this is a very good video done by the economics, the magazine, and then it was questioning us, all of us, about our job. Do you think our job safe? Okay, from that, there are some very real aspect or topic issue that we must be honest about ourselves, but yet it's not the end of the world. I think if we know it now and we do a strategic planning for our own self, okay, I think we can still provide or ourselves with a very good talent product, like you and I, to be able to, keep on going for many, many years. So again, this link, you can just simply click it, and then you can just watch it. Okay, I'm not going to take time here. Okay, so I will just stop here then, Ronald. Unless the student don't have any question, then I can share this one. Otherwise, I think this is good.
Okay, thank you, Professor Angela.
You're welcome.
There is one question here from Arya Sankara in the chat box.
Great.
Okay, the capital resources are related to the profit that the company achieve, but without realizing it, If there is a change of employee, which is better to recruit workers without experience with training costs, or recruiting skilled workers but required high costs? Which one is the more efficient without disturbing capital resource? Thank you.
I love the student taking that question, meaning I think either he has experience or he's very observant student. Okay.
Okay.
Because yes, it is a difficult. And that's what we call opportunity cost. I cannot tell you which one is a right choice, because it's really case by case. But what company evaluated, and sometimes I think HR needs to develop the aspects of opportunity cost. It's like, a lot of people think that, oh, it's better if I get someone experienced, but the arts experienced worker carries one type of characteristic, meaning do they really follow the SOP's procedure? Because sometimes, especially if you are in the production line, right? And then what the experienced coworker may be taught or may have their own set of mind of what things should be like. Okay, but then when they start working in your company, you guys, because maybe the different product or just different belief or something, and you're asking this person to do the other way. And if you cannot successfully convince the person, the coworker, obviously, usually you and I the same, will still follow what is acceptable in our mind, right? So that's why there are some companies prefer to have, especially if it's very technical or mechanical kind of job, they would rather hire a new freshman because they are like a piece of white paper ready to be trained. But then with those type of people with no experience, anything happen unseen, they don't know what to do, right? And if it's a big problem, well, here comes to the cost. But experienced coworker here now, they may come into, oh, maybe they have a way of dealing with emergency cases. So they're really no good or bad. And that's why I think it's very interesting. Yeah, that's why I think a lot of people end up, talking more on the soft part of that. Okay, but whereas, yeah, something like that. So great. It is a very good question. I'm not even able to answer it. I'm only sharing with you what I think the very important criteria to reevaluate. So for me, I would say, what are the opportunity costs? And what are the chances that my production or factory will have the so-called surprise? How severe if that comes? What the job level even? Okay, some are very entrance. Then I will hire a new freshman. But as the job getting a bit of complex or a bit important, usually where the experience will comes to. So you can even see from the job description, and you will kind of know that what type of people they are asking, whether they need the experience or they don't really need the experience. Okay, I hope I answer your questions. Any others?
Yes, from Athanaeus Herosi.
Okay.
Okay, do people who work in human resource, especially as RD, have to master the ergonomics aspect in determining rather than recruiting employees at the time of recruitment?
Well, I have to say that I haven't done a real survey on that. So my suggestion is very limited, very subjective. Okay, but to me, most of the HR, their background is business aspect. And to that, for us, it's an opportunity, right? Okay, we do, but then reminds you, we do have our weaknesses. Okay, that is, we are not strong enough in terms of labor policy and all those. But this is not what we can't have everything. all at once. We can develop it, but we know what our strength is that when we perceive the HR planning, like I said, we consider opportunity cost, we consider the work, we are able to break down into a certain task into a very more realistic work process, and we can estimate using what you have learned about just how many manpower we need, okay, and use what you have learned, the school have already taught you, and then that will be different. Yeah, so I think that as an opportunity for IE. That's why I keep telling my student, IE can go anywhere industry. Yeah. Don't limit yourself just in manufacturing if you don't like it, right? Like for me, I'm more of the service, industry, service science type. So not to say manufacturing is not important. It's very important for all over the world, I must say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also in our graduate also.
Yep.
After graduate, work in the bank and service industries.
Yeah.
Also, bank also, telecommunication companies and
yes.
yes.
Yeah, so it's everywhere. Okay. IE can be everywhere. Okay.
Yes, I equip the like a system thinking, right?
Yes,
system
exactly.
thinking. Yeah, you can. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe
Well,
other questions, or maybe Professor Jila will continue first, or
okay, I can do that too. Okay, well, if you guys have any questions, just throw it and type it. Okay, that's great too. And then Ronald, just interrupt me, so that I get a chance to answer student too, right? Okay. Yeah, because I tend to lose the time, things like that.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. But here, let me ask all of you guys. Do you guys know what geek is? I'm pretty sure you guys know. So answer it for me. Geek. Use another word describing geek. Okay, so what does geek stand for in the geek economy? And do you know that our economy, your country and my country, has already officially going through not service industry anymore, not service economy anymore, but the geek economy. So the word geek is not a new word. It's been already 3 or 4 years already. Okay. But it's spreading and it's even getting more obvious. And we do have to prepare ourselves for that characteristic to come. Okay, so it actually starts by around 2020. I'm pretty sure you guys have the sense of that, but at that, well, I don't know where you guys were, still high school or something. I don't know, but I don't know if you are aware of it, but then it's already, at that time, it's already 500,000 people, 500,000 people, okay, in this geek economy already. So imagine, right now is 2022, right? So it's just going to be more. And that's what's the what is geek? Okay, using this, I would say using this picture right here is very, very clear. Okay, they do have certain characteristics. First, they are very independent. Okay, second, they are contract. Okay, contract in the sense that they are not a permanent contracts, but they are a very short term. And this short term can be even down to months, weeks even. Okay, and that they are on call. Okay, and that they are temporal. Okay, sorry, I can't really see this part, but basically that's okay the characteristic. So after you've heard from me reading all this characteristic, what type of job you thought about? What's the job that popped out right there? The delivery, right? Or maybe some independent artists and so on. Okay, there, or we call YouTuber, right? Okay, etc. So geek actually here means a short term or part-time. So the traditional way of saying part-time job now, we saying geek. Okay, and that the temporary job characteristic that comes totally different from what we have the permanent is that there are some necessary benefit that the employer they're no longer be responsible for. That is actually the employee being as an independent, like independent companies in a sense that they need to be aware of. So I'm not sure if you guys have any news or incidents in your country about how we have, because there were some problem or issues on the food delivery or food courier we call, and a few years back that they don't really have a proper insurance, and that but then when accident comes and all those and so on, they blame on the government or they blame on the company that they don't have that insurance. And there are a lot of the public saying is all the way for the employees, but really when you're looking at the things itself, do you really think it's the company's responsibility? Well, not to say the pay structure. Okay. Personally, I do think it's a market kind of oriented thing. It's like supply and demand kind of thing that they need in order to, achieve to adequate, we call price. In this case, is a salary. But then if you view yourself to be able to have the flexibility as an entrepreneur, independent business person, then of course you will in some sense, knowing what you should secure yourself with. So this actually goes with the companies them too. A lot of time companies, when they are building a factory or they are even shipping a certain amount of goods or inventory overseas, what do? This is something that I don't know if anybody knows. They actually get an insurance. They need an insurance. Okay. Even the reason that's why it goes to we call risk management. But then employees never really think of that because we never view ourselves as an entrepreneur, like owner. But if you are a business person and you are entrepreneur, some people, if you are entrepreneur type of, then you need to know risk management. And HR, in a sense, are doing the risk management for whom? For who he or she work for, right? So of course, as a geek, I mean, if you're working as a part-time independent worker, you enjoy the control, the ability, the negotiation and so on. But yet our mentality is not cultivated into doing certain things that entrepreneurs are supposed to have. So no wonder there are quite a bit of issues right there. Okay, just that I'm curious to ask any of you guys, if you are riding a scooter, okay, the people here in Taiwan, some people or majority of the people riding the scooter, they don't have a proper insurance besides the mandatory insurance. Okay, or even driving. Some people, they don't have a proper, I would say, a secure enough of the insurance, but they do have a mandatory which government enforced that everybody has to have, and that's it. Why is that? It's because we never have a mentality of risk management, So anyway, so in a gig economy, everybody can be the boss or everybody is the boss. And we do have that sense, right? Besides of this, we call, what does that mean? Independence, right? We want an independence, just like kids. You guys probably want an independence, but are you able to be independent? Well, that's why you learn a lot of things from school, maybe not from your parents, because your parents doesn't have this kind of knowledge, right? They don't study this part. If they do, they definitely will tell you. So that's what you're at school for, okay? And contract, you know how we negotiate, right? So in the old time, we are with the contract between employee and employer. Usually, employee have the no ability to negotiate in the sense, unless your skill is very unique and the company need it for, and that's about it. But now it's not. It's like, okay, well, if I cannot actively negotiate with you the salary, well, I don't have to do it. I have the choice to quit, right? To not do it. Well, this is exactly what happened now in the labor force, workforce case. And that's why in North America, they even, especially the retail side of it, okay? Or service industry, especially, or even production now. It's like, we do have job here, but they don't have a lot of people come and interview and apply for now. Why? Because they look at company list out the job salary, and then they think into themselves, whether it's worth it or not, and they don't negotiate you, they just simply don't apply for. Okay, so that's a small way, right? Okay, but yeah, they realize a sense of they do have a choice, and in the old time they don't think they have a choice. But is it good? Okay, is it fair? Is it good? Is it good? Well, I think in a sense it's good, but when it goes to too much, then it's like flipping the coin, right? Okay, we definitely want the coin to be right like this. We don't want to be either side. Okay, either side is not good, but it takes a lot of skill. Okay, anyway, so that's the gig. So look at this. Okay, we do have the trend that how people work, and people who likes to work. Well, I don't like to work in the office anymore. I will probably like to work in a cafeteria, right? And in the old time, I don't really want to show up myself, but I do really want to have my own store. What is that? This is one type of store in Africa that they have all the box. Okay, you put your product in it and you're hiring someone to take care of it, but you don't want to just to, hire one person for your one simple, so you share with all the owner, everybody, and hire someone, supervisor, or some we call a store, right? The retail person to take care of everybody's. Okay, so that's one type. And also we have commonly we say it's a B&B, bed and breakfast. So the hotel side of it, or even the motel now is what? It's more of the Airbnb now, right? And look at how they were advertise themselves in terms of the Airbnb. They do have a platform, just like the hotel and any others, right? And so on. So what exactly the future trend will be? Well, you will see that 18% of the HR profession currently only have that we call the analytic skill. Okay. Earlier, we emphasized on strategic planning, but the strategic based on what? Not only by the experience, or not only by the intuition. I'm not saying it's not important. I think it's very important, but yet, okay, we need to have ability to analyze the data, to collect, okay, people, coworkers, certain, uh, certain, I would say, records. Okay, we leave the track, and so and collect them, and to be able to analyze them and know what they behave like. For example, if your working hour, like the class here is 8 o'clock, and there are some employees who always on time, or who or probably a bit early, but there are some always late. And then to the company, they was just saying, oh, you're late, and you get your salary or whatever deduct, right? Instead of that, would that be any other better way to know why the employees are late all the time? Okay, is there any other thing before we setting the policy of deducting the salary? Right? And etc. I don't know. But then those ones, okay, are based on some of the facts that what we call the analytic skill now. So in the old time, traditional way, we don't think having a statistical, being able to do the analysis are important. But now it's more and more important because we want to look at the data. We want to do a very simple, analysis and knowing exactly what type of people, what kind of job that's, deserve a raise and etc. Okay. So are you ready for the future? Okay. I don't know, but hopefully in the next series, I'll be able to share with you a little bit more. Okay. My alarm is up. Yes, I will make sure I don't go over time this time. So, okay, back to you, Ronald.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Angela, for the sharing. From the student, especially from Vietnamese student, any question? Okay, you Tuan Tuan, Wing Tan Tuan, please. Any questions? Hello?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Any question from Vietnamese students? You can raise your hand or maybe write in the chat box. Okay, maybe I have one question, Professor Angela. Yeah,
Yes.
you said that many benefit about the technology, but I think in my perspective of industrial psychology,
Mm-hmm.
the remote or the remote work, yeah, maybe can have like not have a negative impact, like loss of direct human contact, and that can impact on social relationship, mental
Yes.
health, and others. In your opinion, how we solve this problem or overcome the problem?
Mm, I would say in that sense, it's really very much rely on the psychological side of it. So I can perceive that in the future, there will be many, many more counseling.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is a fact because our the mentality, people are so used to stay at home. I mean, yeah, like if you being locked down for just 2 weeks even, you know, and constantly doing that and remote working, and you will a lot of things you don't think you need to be there anymore, so maybe not necessity anymore. So
Yeah.
I think it's a change of psychologically, and eventually people are very much used to like I just want to stay home and then I just want to do whatever I like, right? So I don't know how to solve that actually, but I do agree with you. It's a dangerous
Okay.
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a danger for our generation actually.
Seriously. Yes.
Okay, seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Angela. There is a question from Nguyen Trong Ching.
Oh, good.
How to apply technology in human resource management?
Okay, how to apply the technology. When I say about technology to this HR position, I think very important is the work analysis. I mean, if from the IE aspect, is that in the production line, right? Depends on what type of products, whatever. But they do have several process phases that they need to do. So that in a technology aspect will be if the person is constantly standing there, like operator, for example, and doing the similar work. And they one type of research they come up with is that they realize that human being usually cannot be really focused on only doing one job. Can you imagine yourself keep doing stabling for not to say an hour, but half an hour? And I'm asking you not to stable like anywhere you like, but specifically, for example, at this corner. You need to be very precise. Human being cannot do it. It was just nature. But one type of human being can is the autism kids. Okay, I just heard from the news and I read the article about that, and that with the applying for the technology, it's you're able to hire in this type of people. We used to think that people have some kind of like characteristic aren't suitable for job, and that totally not true anymore. So even the people, kids from, or people had autism problem, but they are so focused, okay, that they can actually do this. And if you are a company, you are the owner, are you hiring this type of people who can do the job, or you still want to use the machine? Well, it's a judgment call. I cannot say good or bad because it really depends on the strategic planning. But as a, we call CRS, right, company, I will hire those people who can do that job. Okay. So anyway, so that's what one type of technology can apply. Okay, not necessary, but then they're collecting, borrowing from science and research, academically, and there are many others. One type of technology will be stats. I know some of you guys may not like statistics course, but it's very basic that you really need to know, because just by plotting, the bar chart, and so on, a pie chart and stuff, those are a descriptive statistic. So those ones are very simple, yet very practical. Okay, so I hope I answer your questions. Yes, there are one more. Oh. Oh, good questions. Me too. The geek worker, right? Well, I don't know about your answer, Lai. Okay, do you think it's the employer or employees?
Yes, employer or employee. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who really benefit from this?
Yeah. What do you think? My answer will not be what you expect. So that's why I'm really curious what your answer is, or what all of you guys answer. Anybody who think it's employees, raise your hand. You can just press that, right? See?
Okay.
For me, the judgment call is on us. Okay, us.
Okay.
How you perceive yourself. See, I keep sharing with you guys. Hey, we can be active. We are not really employee. We are employee in the sense, okay, when we're doing our job. But then we cannot limit ourselves to be really an employee. It's a slave type of thinking. No. So who is benefit? That's what the geek economy is coming about, because there are some people who is not compromised to be a slave thinking, but yet we need to educate ourselves to be an entrepreneur thinking. Okay, so my answer is nobody benefit. If we don't think, it doesn't matter whether you are employer or employee. Okay. So,
okay. Thank you, Prof. Angela.
You're
Depend on
welcome.
your perspective and mine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Any
Thank
other?
you.
Thank you. I think
Any
there's
others?
oh
Oh,
one
somebody raised
question.
hand.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Sebastian. Please.
Oh, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good morning, Prof. Angela.
Good morning.
My name is Bastian. So I have a question. Continuing the question of Mr. Ronald before, you said that about using technology in human resource, right? So this is about unemployment problems. So in your opinion, how about it? I mean, it is a disadvantage for people, right, when they are get and
Get
being
on.
changed by machine. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. You give me a really easy question, Sebastian. Just kidding. Just kidding. You actually give me a tough one. Why? Because we do need to be honest about our competitor, meaning machine, but yet we need to have a full confidence on ourselves, and that how I deal with this situation is that if I have a chance, I would definitely do an analysis. Okay, like a big data type. That's why big data is so hot now, is because data is just coming, but then regarding to HR data are very sensitive, and a lot of time, or it's actually next to the financial data regarding the company. Okay, the financial data is the top. Okay, anybody, any company, but the HR data are very sensitive. But if I can, I would just grab all those data and then do an analysis on what type of skill that, or the characteristic of my employee, and then figured out what type of skill that I really still needed based on the industry or trend. So that's just on the level of company. But if it's a government, like let's go to a little higher. And that's why I think the Labor and Education Ministry of Labor and Education are so important when we're looking at the nation aspect. They have all the data. They should be able to use the technology, meaning the big data skill, like we call machine learning or whatever, or even just simply a statistical aspect to figure it out. Okay, well, what type of skill that the citizen we have? And really, the strategic planning part will be with the rely on the Ministry of Education. And that's why it's very complex. And that's why I say you are giving me a really tough questions. I cannot really answer. Yeah, but I kind of know what we're supposed to do. But unfortunately, we are still, all of us are still in a learning process, even the government. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Angeles, for your answer. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Angela. I think the time is up. Maybe before we end this seminar, maybe we can open our camera,
Bangun,
have
Dok.
a picture.
Well,
Okay, please open your camera.
Just the camera.
Yeah, just a camera,
Not the microphone.
not a microphone. Yes.
Just you and I.
Yeah. Okay. I want to see your face. Okay. There are two pages. Yeah, the first page is okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And the second one. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I always tell my student one of the good way to make sure your attendance is being recorded is by answering question, or you can
Yes.
say, right? Because the system may go wrong, but if you leave your answer or leave your comment, or even a simple say morning or something, that will
Yeah.
keep the record.
Yeah, and I give extra point for that.
Oh, you're like me too. Yes.
Extra point. Okay, thank you so
Okay,
much,
thank
Professor
you so much,
Angela.
Ronald. Thank you, everybody.
We see you in the next week in the
Yes.
second series of seminar.
Great.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
take care, guys.
Take care. Good morning, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.